Hi, my name's Smurf. Short story, I used to collect them. Welcome to the Let's Talk About Text podcast, where I chat with Nick Millward of mGage, the industry-leading marketing and engagement platform, about all things mobile messaging. Over the next 7 episodes, we're going to be talking SMS, push, RCS, MMS and mobile payments, and how businesses can utilise this channel. So, pull up a seat, strap in, let's talk about text, baby.
Thanks, Smurf. So we've been in the business now for about 21 years in various shapes and forms. We're, if you like, what's known in the industry as an aggregator. So we sit there as a technology company, and if other companies out there wish to send a mobile message to their customers, then they would use us as the place to go to. We're connected into all the phone companies and other technology providers like Google and others, so that we can get mobile messaging out there to any consumer and any customer in the world where a brand or a company wants us to do that. So for example, if it's a supermarket, just as an example, and they want to send a message out to one of their customers, let's say about a delivery, then they wouldn't go to that person's specific mobile phone company to try and get a text message out. They would use us to facilitate that.
The technology is changing all the time. The amount of the usage has changed in those 21 years. A couple of boring figures. In 2019, there were 23 billion texts sent per day, which is approximately 270,000 per second. So by the time I finish this sentence, 1 million texts will have been sent. Now that's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of texting, and it's not just me texting X Factor. That's a lot of texting, and so you guys have had to adapt and change to all this sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Because I think it was when the first digital phones came out, if you recall. It was back in around 92, 93.
So I had one of those, I think it was the Ericsson one, where you could change the fascia of it.
Yeah.
And it was a little screen that sort of scrolled across. And
they're going to be able to guess our age.
But again, I think but even when you sent that text, it cost you £1, didn't it? You know,
it was. I mean, what it was originally set out to do, it was never envisaged as a consumer solution. It was always, or it was originally developed so that engineers could talk to one another in a very easy, efficient way when they were setting things up. You know the masts that you see and the aerials that you see on certain buildings. It was always so that those guys could communicate with one another. But what happened was they saw a consumer need for it, and it's just exploded. I recall when we'd first hit sort of 1 million customers in a month were using text messaging in the UK, and now, well, it's pretty much everybody.
Yeah.
And as you say, the figures are staggering. That I think it's probably been around since, let's say, 1992, 93, but the numbers keep increasing.
Because we haven't outgrown it, have we? We haven't outgrown the idea that we want to text somebody. We still get excited when the phone goes and we get a text. So it's still a big form of communication for us.
Yeah, I think what's happened is that other technologies have come in. You've got things obviously like Facebook, you've got WhatsApp. I think some of those solutions, or those messaging solutions on mobile, are used now a lot more than text message between friends and family. That's how things have shifted. But in terms of companies sending messages to their customers, that's where we're seeing it's continuing to grow.
Right.
Year on year, we're seeing text messages from companies sent to consumers growing, exponentially. And more of a trend now is that we're seeing it in the other way. So companies are sending messages out, but even more so people are responding on that channel. We did a study recently which looked at what consumer behaviour looks like, and the real change probably in the last 2-3 years is that more consumers are saying, I'd rather just text the company and wait for an answer when they're ready. It needs to be within a certain time frame, but previously it would be, I'd pick up the phone and want to speak to somebody. But that seems to be changing now. I think just maybe we're just becoming a bit more time poor as things roll on, or maybe there's an age demographic that's coming in where they're just more familiar with just sending a message in and getting a response.
And we want that response straight away, don't we? Because
Yeah.
we haven't got time to wait for it. You know,
Or you don't want to sit on a you know, the IVRs where you press 1, press 2, press 3 to try and get through to the right department. I think people are a little bit fed up with that.
Well, I think we all learnt something there. I learnt that time poor means having little leisure time. I feel just a little bit more corporate now. So, join us next time when we open the kimono, peel back the onion and drill down some more. For more information and to hear more episodes of Let's Talk About Text, visit go.mgage.com/podcast.